Hello, guys of United Rock Nations. We are in amazing company with the band Fifth Angel. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So we are here, of course, to talk about the new album When Angels Kill. It will be released in a few days, in June, in a few weeks. How is your feeling about this new album?
Well, we're very excited about it. We did something different than we've ever done before. This is a concept record. It's a
Exactly.
double vinyl, and it's almost 70 minutes long. We spent over 2 years making it, and we're very excited. I mean, we always try to make songs that we love, and we always feel like if we don't love it, then why should anybody else love it? So we did our best to make an album that we really enjoy listening to, and hopefully, there's a couple million fans that agree with us.
Absolutely. So that's why, because it's 5 years now between the Third Secret and the new album. So the question I have is how it took so long. It's just because you took 2 years to write this new album.
Well, I think that, I mean, the total duration in terms of writing and recording was at least 2 years, probably 2.5 years for making it. It's a long album. It was a very ambitious project. I mean, it really was, something that we didn't realize how long it would take when we started. But really, the problem was COVID. COVID took
Oh,
out two.
yes.
And to be totally honest with you, we had started working on some of the songs before COVID, but the problem is COVID was such a wild card in terms of, we weren't sure what was going to happen with the label. We weren't sure what was going to happen with anything. So, we sort of paused. We took a pause, for quite a while. And when we started up, recording again and writing again, it was I guess what I'm saying is, people think it's 5 years. It really hasn't been 5 years. I mean, for us, it was really about 2.5 years.
Yes.
COVID definitely changed the ball game.
Absolutely. So When Angels Kill, as you said before, it's a concept album, and all begin with a young man called Phoenix.
Yes.
Tell us about the story of this concept, the main
Well,
lines of the concept album, of the story.
sure. I will give you some of the high points, but basically, I will tell you a little bit too about what we did on this album. We noticed on Third Secret, we were actually talking about doing a concept record back in around Third Secret. It didn't happen then, but we did notice at that time that a lot of the themes, a lot of the things that we wrote about when we were basically kids. I mean, if you look at those early albums, they were talking about deception in the media. They were talking about war. They were talking about a nuclear attack. They're talking about betrayal. They're talking about, these concepts that we were writing those when we were very young, and they're still totally relevant right now.
Unfortunately.
So yeah, unfortunately, yes, unfortunately. So we decided to weave all of the previous subject matter from the three albums, and even some of the song titles and even some of the lyrics we've woven into a story. And the story is based in the future. The Earth is undergoing some dramatic changes, both physically. There's some natural disasters and things that happen, but there's also a tyrant, a leader that takes control of the globe. And basically Phoenix is part of the resistance. He sees what's going on. He's trying to survive and respond to what's happening on the global scale. And he joins Dylan, who is heading up a resistance, and Lana. And so they become friends, and they were working together, and different events transpire. But I don't want to say too much about what happens, but let's say that the story involves betrayal, and it involves natural disasters and a nuclear attack, and just all the different things that we talked about on the earlier records, and it weaves them into this story. And the story is, I think this might be the darkest Fifth Angel album in terms of the story. People, I guess one thing I can say is it's not really a happy story. There's a lot of trauma in this story. There's a lot of traumatic things that happen, and it's really trying to put the listener in the person of Phoenix, where you can imagine yourself being in these global events, because sometimes in life things happen, and it's beyond our control. And you know, that's really kind of what this story is about. It's about these global events, and how Phoenix is trying to respond and survive through them.
You should make a film.
What's that?
You should make a film, a movie.
Well, honestly, it should be a film. This is basically, but that thing that's nice about this record, and I know concept records are not, you know, the big thing right now, because people's attention span are like 20 seconds. You know, like on TikTok, it's like, hey, you got 20 seconds, and then we're on to the next thing. And so I know it's not a popular thing to do, but for the real fans of melodic rock, real fans of power metal. You know, Fifth Angel was one of the first bands to really explore power metal. I consider it one, you know, one of the godfathers of power metal. And so I think you know, the fans, you know, take some time. I say listen to it in two listens. So it's a double vinyl album. You sit back, get a great stereo system, have a glass of wine, listen to the first two sides, then come back the next day and listen to the next two sides. It's a lot of material to digest, but I hope the fans will really enjoy it. I mean, we tried to make something very special for them. We really poured our hearts into it and tried to you know, make everything excellent on the record and make it interesting. And like you said, make a movie. If we would have had $100 million, we would have made a movie.
When you wrote the story and all the fiction, do you say that you were influenced by the ills of our society today, or not?
Yes, I mean, you know, Fifth Angel has always written about the state of mankind. You know, like what you know, you said earlier. Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, that these things are still relevant.
Exactly.
So, you know, we've always written about mankind, you know, the state of mankind, and the trauma that, you know, the world is such an interesting place. I mean, there's so many beautiful and wonderful things in the world, and then there's so much horror and trauma and terrible, you know, things. It's a very odd place, you know, when you think about it in those terms. You know, it's you know, it's a very you know, it's a paradox. You know, you have
Absolutely.
so many wonderful people and things, and then you've got so many terrible people that are fighting for power and want to control other people and want to, you know, do horrible things, and it's all about money and control, and you know, these different things that show the baser nature of mankind. So I would say yes, we're definitely influenced by you know, what people experience, and also you know, how mankind responds to these different things. You know, sometimes we respond very well. You know, sometimes we don't respond well. You know, and so yeah, it's unfortunately that's our state.
Absolutely. So let's talk about music. We talked about the concept, but let's talk about music. Who bring the main ideas? Is it a collective effort, or just one or two person that bring the musical ideas?
Well, it was definitely a collective effort. We have the people that wrote on this record were myself, Ed, Ethan Brosh, co-wrote a couple songs, John, Steve Conley, my buddy in Flotsam, have all contributed to the ideas. I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but yes, this was definitely a collective effort, and we definitely tried to make music that excited us. You know, like I really believe music is to make you feel something. So whether it's angry or sad or happy or energy or, you know, excited, you know, whatever the feeling is, we tried to make sure that whatever feeling you were supposed to be feeling, that you felt. So that was our main goal, is to make music that we would love and that would move us and that we would feel the correct emotion. And so that was our goal.
So the music came before the lyrics, or the lyrics became before the music?
It was different in different cases, and in some cases the songs popped out really fast, And in other cases, it was a laborious process of, intense scrutinization where we really poured over the material to try to make sure it was right and everything. And it's just, sometimes great songs happen both ways. I've seen great songs happen where they just pop out. They're very quick and everything just flows. And then we've had songs where we really have to labor over them and really work on them. And this was kind of a collection of both types of songs. Some songs were very fast, other songs we really had to labor over. So I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Is the lyrics? Is the lyrics came after or before the music?
It came in different for different songs. It was different. For instance, the song "When Angels Kill," those lyrics, the music was first, the lyrics came second. The End of Everything, the melody and lyrics were first, and the music came second. So it really depended on the song. It just happens. It happens the way it happens. Sometimes you'll just get a melody in your head, and you go, "Oh, well, what are the words that would go with this melody?" And so it was definitely a variety. There's no like formula. There's no like way to just go, "Okay, we're doing this, this, and this." It was definitely, the songs showed up when they showed up, sort of. And I think that that's part of the magic of the process. I think that's part of the reason it probably took so long too, because you can try and force it, but it's a very difficult thing to force creativity that you are happy with.
Absolutely.
It's easy to force something that you're not happy with. I'm going to make a song a day. And are they going to be great songs? Maybe not. But we wanted to make an album with all killer, no filler. Just every song is a work of art on its own. And then hopefully when you put them all together, it's this fantastic story that really we were trying to make something very special for the fans.
Fantastic. So I selected two songs that I want to talk about.
Yes.
It's two songs I love a lot on this album. The first one is Kill the Pain. Because it's a mid-tempo heavy song. It's not really like the other songs of the album. But tell us more about that song.
Well, Kill the Pain, I mean, this is the part of the story where, I don't know if I want to say too much about about what happens, but this is a part of the story where Phoenix is very sad. He's feeling alone and isolated, and
that's the reason why the song, it's a mid-tempo, it's more quiet than the others.
Yes, it's a very reflective song, and it's a sad song, and he's saying why why me, and why am I here, and why did all this stuff happen, and it's it's a very sad part of the story. So and the question was, I'm sorry, what was the question?
No, I just want to know
about the story,
a little bit about the song, about also the musical songwriting. Who bring the main ideas on this song, for example?
Well, that was John initially brought the music or part of the music, and then that was actually, I think that song was mostly John and I, and he had the music, and then I had the nice thing about writing a concept record is when you're writing the record, okay, I need a song for this part of the story.
Exactly.
And so, when you listen to the music, it was it was a very moving, and it was kind of a sad music. And so, obviously I took that and put it into the part of the story that was a sad part of the story. So, I think in that instance, the music came first and the lyrics came later. And then I wrote part of the music as well. The chorus music was, I think, my music. And so that was John and I kind of working together on that one. And that's one of my favorites too, actually, off the album. It's I feel very moving song.
Absolutely. So the second song I love a lot is Resist the Tyrants.
Yes.
The chorus, there's a lot of chorus, the vocal arrangements, the rhythm section works perfectly altogether. Tell us more about that song musically.
Well, it's funny that you said that song, because that's going to be our next video, is going to be To Resist the Tyrant. And by the way, that's my wife's favorite song. She loves that song. She says that her friends, they work in an office, and so they took it in the office, they felt like they were resisting the tyrant with their boss. So they loved it. They heard the song and they just loved it. But as far as the melodies, it's a very bombastic song, and this is kind of a song of hope. It's a very aggressive song, and
Exactly.
there's energy, and it's a life affirming kind of song. But this is before, this is when the resistance is starting, and nothing really too bad has happened yet. So this is at the beginning of the story, and this is the people that are recognizing what is going on with this leader, and they're trying to formulate a resistance. Now, I'm not going to say what happens next, but this song is obviously where they're feeling strong, and they're feeling like, hey, we're going to go, and we're going to we're not going to allow this to happen. And so does that help?
But talking about the arrangements on this song, there is some vocals arrangement different from the
Yes.
others. There's also more chorus or so. Why do you choose exactly? Why did you make that choice at that moment for the vocals arrangement, for the chorus?
Well, it's funny because it's really not. It's part of telling the story.
Okay,
We've got a large group of people resisting this tyrant. They're all
okay,
together. They're all in unity. They're all singing together. That's why we've got this huge bombastic chorus and people
exactly.
singing along. And, so this is that part of the story. So that's why you have this, different vocal arrangement where it's very large and there's a lot of voices, and it sounds very huge.
Exactly.
Because that's the resistance has started, and it's this huge group of people.
Okay, so let's talk about concerts, shows, live. We know that you will play some festival this summer, but we haven't seen any tour. Do you plan? Do you plan? Do you plan to come, for example, in Europe to make
Sure.
some shows? What are the plans about it?
Well, definitely we'd love to do as much as we can. People they think like, well, does the band want to tour? Yes, the band wants to tour, for sure. The challenge is, coming from the United States,
Exactly.
it's a very expensive prospect. Like when
Absolutely.
you get on a plane, when you talk about just the plane flights, like just the plane flights for five guys, and that's assuming that your sound technician, your tour manager, your road crew, or let's assume that those are in Europe. You spend 8,000 euros just on the flights, and that's a very difficult thing. So we have to be very careful, just like a lot of other bands. I mean, I know that there's a lot of United States bands that are having this problem. Bands that are bigger than Fifth Angel have had to cancel and reroute and reschedule and all these kinds of things. And it's I hope the fans understand it's not because the band doesn't want to go there.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
bands want to go there. The most fun for us ever is going and meeting the fans and talking to the fans and signing records. And because when someone appreciates your art, they like
Absolutely.
they like your music. They purchased your music. They go to your shows. There's no higher compliment. Like that is the greatest honor, is when someone appreciates your art. So we would love to tour, we would love to play, and we just have to see what's going to happen in terms of the demand and tour opportunities. If the tour opportunities show up, we'll definitely take them. I mean, the band definitely wants to. We've all talked about it. Like, would we want to tour behind the record? Of course. Absolutely, we'd love to. And hopefully, that opportunity will present itself.
Okay. And you will tour in the USA later this year or not?
We have not toured in the United States. The United States is kind of odd for Fifth Angel. It's a like, I think we have a better market for the band in Europe. Like, I think
Okay.
people appreciate us more in Europe than they do in the United States, which is
Okay.
kind of unfortunate in terms of, for us, like it'd be nice to be, well received in your
And how do you explain that?
Well, I'm not sure. I think that, well, I think what happened in, if you look at our history, and
Yes.
I don't, you know, if, you may know the story, but
Yes.
you know, in the early '90s, grunge hit, and that sort of wiped out in the United States. You know, not so much in Europe, but in the United States, it just wiped everything out, like completely. Like we lost our record deal, and back then you didn't have internet, you didn't have YouTube. You know, like now, if you lost your record deal, you could still make music, you could still reach your fans, you could still put things out. But back then, there was really no option. And so, you know, the singer went back to school. He became an endodontist and oral surgeon. And, you know, so things happened. Life got in the way. And it really wasn't until 2010 that the band was really reinvigorated again.
Exactly.
So, in terms of, I think this was going back to the tour issue. Is that right? You know, in terms of, you know, us touring, you know, we certainly want to, you know, we would love to tour the United States as well, but it seems like our real fan base is more based in Europe.
In Europe, okay, can understand.
I think they appreciate our music more. I think you know, those first two albums in Europe are kind of, you know, considered classics. And I think the impact of the band was better, I think, overseas than in the United States.
So thank you very much, Ken, for all these informations about the new album. We hope to see you, of course, in France, because we want to see you live. So, and we hope you, of course, the best for the new album.
Thank you so much. It's awesome.
Thank you very much.
You have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye.